All right, guys, we're back. We're back. We're back. Mama, we got to do this in 12 minutes, I think. It say 12 minutes and 40 seconds I got, okay?
Right,
so I think we can do it. Back to what she was saying. So it was 3 people that had to get me up just to stand up, okay?
So just to stand up to see if she was able to go down to have her spinal x-ray.
And they wanted me to stand up for how long? Just maybe 10 seconds, I think? Is that what she said?
Well, you have to stand for more. Well, yeah, maybe 10 seconds at that point. But she'd have to be able to stand up longer than that.
On my own, but they wanted me to see.
When you went down for the x-ray. But they just want to see if she could.
Now, with all that going on and the 3 people stood me up, was I still shaky? Was I...
You were still shaky.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, not violently trembling at that time, but you were weak and still shaky, and again, of course, in pain.
Right.
So anyway, she gets up, and so she stands up a few seconds. She goes, "Oh, I feel sick," and so they're on their way to sit her back down, and she goes,
I mean, that ain't funny though.
She throws up. And then she throws up about 7 times. It was
lie.
So much they didn't really even have time to go get the little emesis, and she was just going. I mean, it was just like everywhere.
And it wasn't dry heaving. After about 3-4 times you over the thing, you dry heaving. No, y'all. It was projectile vomiting.
Stuff was coming out.
And when she said stuff was coming up. And when she says 7 times, y'all, it's no exaggeration over here.
It was so
literally.
I was like shocked myself.
It looks like the movie. You know the movie Stand By Me where Big Laura had blueberry stuff, and he was just, if y'all old school, you know the movie Stand By Me, man, that's what it was. Okay.
But yeah, so they had to sit her back down and basically like, this is not going to work. She needs an x-ray. They're going to have to come up and do this x-ray while she's in the bed, of course.
And what I do remember, though, is once they set me down and I, leaned over, I think I looked up at her and said, I feel like I'm nauseated. And then that's kind of when I threw up. But once I got done, I think for me, what I can remember, that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. Like, they wasn't getting nothing else. I mean, I think all I can remember is just falling back. And I don't know if they said, you want us to help you with your legs? And I couldn't even open my mouth because I was exhausted to say anything. Yeah. And so they laid me back in the bed. It wasn't no moving me at all, y'all.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was enough right there for them to have them come up and do the portable x-ray.
No, they took me down.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. They took her in the bed. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They took her down, but they did it in the bed.
Yeah, they took me. Yeah, they kept me in the bed, though.
That's right.
But
they kept her in the bed.
What I think, and I don't know, it felt like hours, but I felt like they had gave me some, but it must have been the 2 doses of morphine, and then they gave me some vomiting medicine, some Zofran. And I think that made me so sleepy and sedated that I think I went to sleep for a little bit and then finally woke up, but I was still very lethargic, sedated. And then like mine said, they finally just said forget it, which I don't know how hard that was anyway.
Right.
Again, I think these people, I tell y'all, they was trying to punch my ticket before the master did. I just can't understand it. Why one day I would be able to go down in the bed, and then the next day I'm not. Again, I don't think that I don't think they liked me. And I don't think they liked me because I was one that spoke up for myself and that they just couldn't tell me any and everything. Doctors want to talk over you and thinking, okay, well, you just going to do what I say to do because I'm the one with the degree. But they don't listen to the patient. If I say that my right arm is hurting, why are you trying to make me believe and be delusional that it's my left? Mm-hmm. I don't get it, and so I really think that they did not like me because if it wasn't me, it was my sister, the doctor,
or the mother
questioning, and then sometimes being right. Most of the time being right, questioning them about what they're doing it, how they're doing it, and why they're doing it. And in the healthcare field, I don't think people like that, but anywho, it is what it is. So this is also when my trust in the healthcare system start doing like this. I told you I really believed that I had all the faith. I work in healthcare, but at this point I really believed that, okay, me and healthcare ain't seeing eye to eye. These people don't like me. I feel like they trying to kill me. But y'all, that ain't even the half of it. You talking about kill somebody. So, again, we gonna leave it like that because I ain't gonna make it serious again. I'm gonna give you a break and give you something that is truly a laughter. I don't think my mama won't be in on this one. So I'm gonna bring somebody else.
Well, I was a part of it.
She was a part.
But
I don't think she feel comfortable talking about it. Not because it's sexual or anything like that. Nothing about this is sexual.
But it's funny. You won't want to miss it.
You won't want to miss it.
But let me say this: if you've been following Crystal up to this point, please be sure that when you go to a hospital, that you speak up for yourself. Make them explain to you what medications you're on. Why are you getting it? What time do you get it? Make sure you have a family member or a friend who can validate that. And when you aren't able to speak for yourself, hopefully you'll have someone who can speak for you and who can intercede for you. And then one of the things that I had issue with the hospital, I think Chrissy talked about this earlier, was the inconsistency with the nursing staff, that you rarely had the same nurse 2 days in a row. So therefore, every day she's trying to tell her story. One nurse would understand what her medication regime was and her regimen, and things would go well. And then you have some other nurse who was a resource nurse, meaning they're like a float pool. So they go from unit to unit within that hospital, and not always 8 hours or 12 hours on the same tour. So in one shift, she could have 2 or 3 nurses, which is not good. Or then they would have traveling nurses. So I don't know if you're familiar with traveling nurses. Those are nurses who may live in California, but they contract with... Is that going to show up on my...
I don't think so. Sorry, that's my alarm.
They contract with a hospital to work maybe there 13 weeks. Because we met one nurse who'd actually been there for 9 months. And so she said she was getting ready to just terminate her contract, I think, and go back home. So you have traveling nurses. So a lot of times, they're fill-in nurses. They don't know the floor. They don't know all the policies and so forth. So just make sure you understand what your care is supposed to be. Speak up for yourself or have someone else speak up for you. And I know that we're going to have to cut this off, but particularly when we're talking about patients who are sedated and they don't always remember what was said, and if you have elderly parents or grandparents.
Yes.
Our thought processes, we can think, certainly, but if you talk too fast, we may not get everything that you said. We may not remember everything you said because maybe we just have, our short-term memory isn't as good as it was. So if you have some elderly individuals in the hospital and the nursing home, be there to advocate for them and talk to the doctor so that you know what's going on, so that they can get the best care possible. And that's why I had to stay with my daughter every night. Mm-hmm. As tired as I was, the chairs weren't comfortable, the cots were awful with springs sticking in your back. I could not go home and rest and sleep, worrying about what kind of care she was getting, were they leaving her in pain, what were going to be the attitudes of the people providing for her, because she speaks up for herself and she's very firm, that can turn people off.
Yeah.
And so that's my parting words for you, is that make sure that you have someone to advocate for you and you advocate for yourself. And if you don't understand something, ask questions, because they will use words that they assume you understand. And I'll give you an example right quick. Because she was sweating, and I said sweating profusely, one of the medical terms for that is diaphoretic, or she was diaphoresis. So if the doctor came in and said, well, you know, your daughter was diaphoretic, and you would be like,
What is that?
What?
Is she diabetic?
Yeah. Well,
When she become diabetic?
what does that mean? So sometimes the doctors don't understand or forget that they should say things in layman terms that the general public will understand. So if they say something you don't understand, ask the question.
Okay.
Ask the question.
Well, let me say this. Hopefully she'll come back with me another day because I think she got used to it a little bit. And unfortunately, we ought to run out of time.
Because I did not want to do this.
Let me ask you real quick. What voice should she have used? What's the first one you wanted to use?
Hello. I'm here to speak about my daughter's hospitalization.
She sound like an operator, don't she?
The do's and the don'ts. The fire and the hell.
That was her politically correct. But she said, no, I ain't going to do that. I'm going to use my regular voice. But she, like me, hate to hear our voice on camera.
I don't like my voice.
But again, I want to say thank you so much, Mommy.
Yes, Cootie Cootie.
Love you. You know you wrong for saying that, but that's okay. And again, I thank you for continuing to walk through this journey with me. Please, please, please make sure you comment, share, like, because you never know where this is going to lead. But as well, wait till episode 8. If you have never cracked up before, you might say that that's nasty. But if you ain't never laughed before, you gonna laugh tomorrow, okay? All right. Again, I love you as always. God bless you. And I'll see you again. Bye.